So one night around somewhere after the 5th, between the 5th and 7th, my best friend Matt came to me and said, "Kevin, I think I just heard on the radio that they said militia member William Cooper has just been shot and killed." And I was like, "What?" And I ran to the internet immediately, and I looked up, on his website, and lo and behold, it said, William Cooper has just been shot and killed by Apache sheriffs in Edgar, Arizona. And I was like, "Oh no." So, immediately the next day, which was the 8th, afternoon of the 8th, I got a rental minivan, and I drove 10 straight hours to get there. And the reason I did that was, even though I had broken off from Bill years earlier, I still respected him, and I still admired what he did, and I felt that I owed at least that to that man, to go and to investigate and find out what happened, So I did that, and because Bill always said, find out for yourself what the truth is. When people are killed in the movement, don't buy it that that they just got killed. There was something more behind the story, and that's what I thought here. So that's why I did what I did. I arrived in Edgar, Arizona at 12:15 a.m. on November 9, 2001, so early morning. It's a 10-hour drive. I met a gentleman by the name of Brad Finch, and I'll tell you his story. I met Brad. That was the first person I interviewed. 2 people in the city, and he was the first one. And right when I got there, I met Brad, who works at a gas station convenience store. I think he was the owner. I'm not sure. He told me that Bill Cooper had lived in the city for 3 or 4 years. When Cooper first moved there from St. John's, Arizona, he was cool to everyone. The problem started about a year earlier. Cooper lived in a nice house on top of a hill very close to the convenience store. There was an issue with the property around Cooper's house. 3 or 4 other people owned property on the hill which surrounds Cooper's house. Bill would threaten the property owners to stay away from his property, and would put a gun to their heads and threaten to kill them if they came on the property again. About 2 years earlier, the feds and local law enforcement surrounded Cooper's house, I guess, but I'm not sure, to arrest him for tax evasion. The local police told the feds that Bill had an arsenal of weapons in the house, and that there were a lot of families who lived below Cooper's house. They pleaded with the feds to back off, and they did. And to this day, they never bothered him again. Finally, Bill's threats on the locals to shoot them became too much. They complained that he may snap at any time, and nothing had been done in the past to stop him from making these threats. And they said that if the police don't do something, that they would. I'm not sure, but I think Bill made another threat to someone on Sunday 11/4/01 or Monday 11/5/01. And the Apache sheriffs had to issue a warrant for Bill's arrest. Now, let me say this. In the documentary on Bill called The Legacy of William Cooper, a couple gentlemen, Doyle Shamley and Robert Hooton, were friends of Bill's. Doyle, I guess, was friends with Bill from like 98 on, and Robert was friends, and he was a co-host on Hour of the Times with Bill and his webmaster. Now, in that documentary, they did a very good job, I feel. But I just want to clarify from my understanding of what I was able to find out a few things. Okay? First of all, Bill lived up on a hilltop. When I was driving around there, I saw some people there. I don't know if they were agents or not, going through Bill's stuff, and this was on the morning of the ninth, around, whatever, to say 9, 10, 11 a.m. or whatever, somewhere around that time. And okay, so Bill had a panoramic view, and he could see, down from there at all angles of the town. Now, there were times when there were partying teenagers that would go up near there, drinking, whatever, being rowdy, making noise, and Bill would go down and confront them and, chase them off. And also there were like 3 or 4 other people who had owned property around that area. Now, in the documentary, Doyle mentioned a gentleman by the name of Dr. Scott Hamlin, who was just a prick by Doyle's words. And he was an instigator and aggravated Bill. Now, it gets a little interesting because, the government does that. They have people, that they pay as agents or whatever to do stuff like that because, they were after Bill. Regardless of whether or not, whatever your conclusion is, it was Bill's own fault. I'm sorry, but I feel that at this time, from what I've been able to conclude. But make no mistakes about it. They were after Bill, okay? And they were going to get him. And especially after he had just predicted 9/11 and named the exact person that they were labeling as terrorist. And I mean, so, that's pretty interesting right there. So, it came to a head, with this Dr. Hamlin guy, because that's when things got really hairy, because the last incident was with him. What I was told was, and by the other gentleman who I interviewed, who I'll talk to you in the next segment about, said that Bill, whatever, Dr. Hamlin did, maybe he provoked Bill, did something and pissed Bill off. Bill went down to his office and put a gun to his head and told him, you come back up on the property again and you're dead. And that was when they issued, the sheriffs, they all issued their arrest warrant and plotted to get Bill. So Brad also said to me, let me shed a little more light on the issue that may help you. Bill's wife, Annie, left him about 1.5 years earlier with the kids. Brad said that Bill had threatened Annie that if she left him, he would kill her or hurt her. She became scared of Bill and left when he wasn't around. Now, let me say this. That's their personal business, and I don't know. But from what I was told, yeah, she left him. And in the documentary, they said that, Bill felt for her safety, I believe, in the documentary, and, was put away, hid away. But that's not from what I understand. So, whatever the truth is, it's none of my business, and that was their personal life. And I understand that he was married to her, and whatever problems they may have had in marriages, that's what happens. I've been through it in a relationship recently, so I know how it feels. And he lost his wife, she left, whatever, if that's what happened, and there was some type of domestic dispute issue there, took the kids, and, it'll make a man depressed, and that's normal, and I mean, that happens. And, whatever else went on in there, like I said, I don't know. But I'm just putting things together as to what led up to, his untimely death. So, Brad said that Annie was well liked and active in the town of 5,000 people, as was Bill. Bill was liked also. And her kids and other kids had good times together. Brad had met Annie on a couple occasions when she would come into the convenience store. It is not known where Annie and the kids are, but they were not at the house when Bill was killed. Now, from what I was told by the next gentleman in the next segment, who I'll tell you the name now, his name was Glenn Jacobs. He said that, I believe that some people came to Annie's aid, and they, helped her, and, and they confronted the feds, or, and told them, look, Bill's gone, will you leave Annie alone and not charge her with these ridiculous charges of tax evasions and all this stuff? And from as far as I know, that's what happened, and that's what they did. They didn't bother her anymore, and I'm not sure. I guess she moved on. And I just want to say to her, you know, she's a very nice lady. You know, I've talked to her a number of occasions, and I'm so sorry that you had to go through that horrible time, Annie. And I hope that you are, you know, well with the kids and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and close out the details in the next segment, which is part 4 of this. So stick around, and see you in a moment.